Okay, Mr. Chairman, as a preliminary matter and as you requested, this is Perry Jewell, the Vice Chairman of the Board of Health. I'll do a roll call to confirm that we do indeed have a quorum and who is present. Of course, there is our Chairman, George Eamon. George present. And there is Lisa Normandin, our member.
Here.
And I am here. And we do expect two other members, but they're not present yet. With regard to the staff, we have present, of course, Andrea Schnepp, our administrative assistant, and Jim Gareffi, our agent. And we do have also a couple of potential speakers here, one being Doug Smith and one being Dan Proctor. At any rate, in accordance with the requirements of the open meeting law, please be advised that this meeting is being recorded and broadcast over the Lunenburg Public Access channel. And this meeting of the Lunenburg Board of Health is being conducted remotely. The town of Lunenburg, in response to the COVID-19 coronavirus, is currently following the guidance from the Lunenburg Board of Health, Massachusetts Department of Public Health, and the CDC regarding the virus, and steps communities can take to prevent the spread. And all town facilities are currently open to the public. In accordance with the governor's order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, all public meetings are being conducted remotely. The order, which you can find posted on the town website on the COVID-19 Information Center page, accessed through the town manager's webpage, allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. We have our other two members who are going to join us. I'm going to admit them. One is Evan Waters, I'm admitting, and Paul Fortin, our other member, I'm admitting. So for this meeting, ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will allow public comment at the end, limited to 3 months or more if the chairman so desires. For this meeting of the Lunenburg Board of Health is being convened by Zoom as posted on the town's website, identifying how the public may join. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and that most attendees are participating by video conference. Accordingly, please be aware that other folks may be able to see you, and take care in screen sharing your computer. Anything that you broadcast will be captured by the recording. And now we'll be turning to the first item on the agenda, but before we do that, permit me to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. The chair will introduce each speaker on the agenda, and after they conclude their remarks, the chair will invite others to provide any comment, questions, or motions. Please remember to mute your phone or computer when you're not speaking, and please remember to state your name and speak clearly in a way that helps to generate accurate minutes. For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you and state your name before speaking. Members wish to address other members, please do so through the chair, taking care to identify yourself. And finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by roll call vote. Hopefully this will be our last meeting purely in a Zoom mode, and that starting with our next meeting in 2 weeks, we will be able to meet downstairs in the Ritter around one table, and which will allow a large plan to be spread out and allow us to go through that in much greater detail and much easier than we can working by computer. In any event, Mr. Chairman, the meeting is all yours.
Thank you, Perry. I would ask if you do speak, if you could speak up. For whatever reason, my laptop here volume is not the best in the world, and it's difficult for me to hear what you're saying if you do speak. Perry is correct. The governor's state of emergency expires June 15th, after which all of this will hopefully go away for good. One other thing I might mention, for once in a very long time, the town of Lunenburg did not have a COVID positive test in the past week, which is kind of nice. We don't see those too very often, and hopefully it'll continue on into the future. And this will finally be in our rearview mirror, as it were. Okay, our first item up tonight for agenda is a request for variances from 9 West Street Terrace. Let's see here, I have a letter here. I just have to find the right one. I just had it in my hand. Oh, there it is, okay. To the Board of Health, please accept this letter as a request to be put on the next Board of Health agenda meeting for consideration for the local upgrade approval listed below. For Tony Prada, care of Sandra Blood, for 9 West Street Terrace in Lunenburg. State Title V local upgrade approvals requested. Street 10 CMR 4051H requesting a local upgrade approval for the requirement of a 4-foot separation between the bottom of the soil absorption system and high groundwater. Requesting a 12-inch reduction resulting in the bed bottom of the soil absorption system being 6 inches above high groundwater with a reported Class 2 soil. Item number 2, 310 CMR 15405-1B, requesting a local upgrade approval for a reduction between the 10-inch separation required between the foundation and the septic tank. Okay, pump chamber, septic tank and pump chamber. The existing septic tank is 3 feet from the foundation and the existing pump chamber is 6 feet from the foundation. Thank you for your consideration, and this is Doug Smith. Doug, go ahead. You got the floor.
No, thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah, this is a existing system on about a 0.25 acre lot, and the tank and pump chamber were checked by a Title V inspector and deemed to be watertight, structurally sound, and so the idea is to keep the tank and the pump and put a whole new system in to replace the existing septic system that's there now. So it's basically digging it all out and rebuilding according to the plan that I put together. They will have to add a poly barrier and basically dig out what's there and replace it, because it did not pass the Title V and the house is being sold.
Doug, what's the soil underneath the bed? The existing bed, do you have any idea?
Well, right now it's a mounded system that's probably 2.5 feet above ground, level. So they'll basically dig out what's there and replace it. The natural soil, it's a wood bridge is the soil type. But
I'm sorry, what is natural soil?
Wood bridge is the soil type.
Okay.
In that basic neighborhood, all Paxton and Woodbridge are the 2 types.
You're gonna try to match that perk rate up a little bit so it lasts a long time and the water doesn't perk up instead of down. Okay. I think I get it. West Street Terrace, is that runoff of Leominster Road?
West Street.
It borders Pleasant and West.
Pleasant and West, okay, I know where it is, all right. This, tonight we've got a couple of things that's both on West, and it's kind of confusing to get this paperwork together. And there's a West Street also, there's a West Street and there's a West Street extension, I guess it is, it runs off of Leominster Road, and I wasn't sure if this was it or not. Okay, anybody else have any questions or comments that they'd like to make about this? I understand Jim Hill, who's next? Okay, I guess there are no other questions. Jim, can you have your comments, please?
Sure. So as Doug mentioned, it is an upgrade to a failing system. The system was installed, I believe, in either 97 or 99. So testing was done under the current set of Title V. So we do have information from back then and what the soil types were in the water table. So we're using that information because the backyard is so full of system and the yard's paved that we can't really dig any testing at this point. When they go to excavate for the system, we will verify that the top and subsoil has been removed, and if we feel that some additional test holes are needed, we'll do those at that time. The only other concern I have, and I've expressed it to Doug, and he's made some indications on the plan, the tanks appear to be okay based on the Title V inspector. We have no idea how old the pump is in that tank, and so my recommendation would be is that if the pump's older than 5 years, that ought to be replaced at the time the system is being replaced too, just so we don't give somebody a whole brand new system and a pump that may fail on them in a short order. Again, I just don't know what the age of the pump is.
The tank itself is sound?
According to the Title V inspectors, the tanks are sound. It's just
Okay,
the pump.
so you recommend that the pump be changed. When is this installed? 1999, did you say?
Either 99 or 90. So just let me pull the file out here so I can get an exact date.
It's 20 years.
Yeah. So again, I don't know what the age of the pump is.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to assume that it's 20 years. It probably hasn't been changed, but
It was installed in 1999.
99?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 20 years, 21 years. Okay.
I don't
Anybody else have any?
I don't have any issue with
Sorry,
the variances being requested. I mean, they're reasonable to try to get the system to fit back in.
Yes. Okay. Okay. I think this tank, well, this system is going to go in and hopefully it'll last longer than 20 years. I would probably make, if someone wants to make a motion or nobody else has any comments, we could entertain a motion to grant this variance, but I would like to modify the variance to replace that pump, locate and replace this pump just because of the age and the fact that it's a new system. Would someone like to make a motion? to that
Mr.
effect?
Chairman, Mr. Chairman,
Perry?
this is Perry Jewell. Yes, I'd be happy to move that we grant these two requested variances with the additional added requirement that the pump be replaced.
Okay, thank you, Perry. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you very much. A second, all in favor? This
Aye.
will be a voice vote. Go ahead,
Aye.
say your name.
Perry Jewell, aye.
Lisa Norman, aye.
Thank you. George Eman, aye. Okay, the motion's made and the variances are approved with
I didn't
the
hear if Evan and Paul voted.
Yeah, Paul and I didn't vote.
addition of a replacement of the pump in the system.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Chairman.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman, could we ask Mr. Waters and Mr. Fortin to vote?
Have they taken part in, were they here early enough to take part in the discussion?
Yes, they've been here
They were,
since my
okay,
remarks.
okay, all right, okay. Well, we have two more to vote then. If you're familiar with it, you vote to approve or not approve. The motion's been made and seconded. And we'll take another voice vote. George Eman, I vote aye.
Lisa Norman, I vote aye.
Perry Jewell, I vote aye.
Evan Waters, I vote aye.
Paul Fortin, aye.
Okay, motion's made, seconded, and approved. So that one is done.
Thank you very much.
You are welcome, sir. Let's see, what's the next one? Boy, this print is so darn small. in here. Yeah, West Acre, I just, print is very small here. Just have to find it. Is this it? West Acres Drive. All right. Okay, this one is also, you want Doug? Let me read this letter. This one is for 8 West Acres Drive. The request is for 310 CMR requesting local upgrade approval to allow a reduction of the 4-foot requirement separation between the bed bottom of the soil absorption system and high groundwater. Requesting a 24-inch reduction, which will result in the soil absorption system being 24 inches above high groundwater for the class 2 soil and a 4-minute perk rate. Number 2, 310 CMR 15451J, reduction in the 12-inch separation for the tank inlet and outlet Ps and high groundwater, provided this 9-inch tank inlet, 6-inch tank out, 5-inch pump. Okay, 5-inch pump inlet and 4-inch pump outlet. Thank you for your consideration. Doug Smith. Go ahead, Doug.
Actually, I'm going to take this one if I could.
Sure, go ahead, Dan.
Try to save a little money on my engineering costs.
Appreciate that.
Okay,
This is West Acres Drive. So you were asking,
Right.
Joe, to get to the end of West Street, there's a loop, is West Street Terrace, and then there's another loop, which is West Acres Drive.
okay. It's down across from West Street and then down around the corner. Yeah, okay, I know where it is.
On Pleasant Street. So this is an existing failed system. It failed the Title V inspection. The property is serviced by town water. We have 34 an inch soil and we had 36 inches to groundwater. Extremely small lot, rear of the property, the only place we could put a system. We went with a Presby bed just because it'll help with our breakout issues that we have on the property. And that's why we're requesting those 2 variances.
Jim,
Thanks, George. Again, as Dan mentioned, the site has high water table and a high perk rate, not a good combination when you're trying to fit a system in there. But because of the state's approval of the Presby, you're allowed to reduce the groundwater offset. And because of the way the breakout elevation, that fill that's needed to keep the effluent from breaking out horizontally, it is able to fit better on the site. I don't have any issues with the variances requested. The site's served by town water, and there's no other sensitive receptor in the area.
okay. Does anybody have anything they'd like to ask or offer? Hearing none, we can entertain a motion to grant the requested variances. Somebody
I'll make-
want to,
I'll make a motion. We grant the request as asked.
thank you.
This is Evan Waters. I'll
We
second.
have a second. All in favor? This will be a voice vote.
Lisa Normandin, aye.
All Fortin.
Evan,
Evan Waters, aye.
George Amond,
Jerry
aye.
Jewell, aye.
Okay, motion's, Paul already did, he's all set. Okay, the board is unanimous in granting the variances. Variances are passed.
Thank you.
Thank you. We won't have to do this anymore. We'll be doing it downstairs. You caught that, didn't you? Did good, Dan.
Yes,
I
absolutely.
know you're disappointed. I know you really enjoyed it.
Well, the Bruins just gave up a goal, so it's 1-1 now, so.
Is it 1-1?
1-1, yes.
Well, at least not 1-0.
Yeah.
1-0, yeah. Okay, our last one is for 84 Mill Street. And I'll read this one here on behalf of our client. Doug Barney, okay, I'm reading, it's all come together here, okay. On behalf of our client, Doug Barney, Dillis and Roy respectfully request the following local upgrade approval for the design and construction of a proposed sewage disposal system upgrade located at the above referenced site, 84 Beale Street. The specific local upgrade approvals being sought.
Mr. Chairman, do we have someone here to represent this one?
That's mine also.
Yeah.
Was it
that's,
yours
uh,
also, Dan? Okay, I'm
Yep.
sorry. to
Yeah,
interrupt. I
Dan's
just,
handling it. Yeah,
I wasn't sure.
okay.
Go right ahead, because we're a little
Local upgrade
early on this
approvals
one.
are-
That's fine, if Dan's here.
Are we set? Okay. 310 CMR 15405-1H, reduction of the required 4-foot limit between the estimated seasonal high groundwater table and the bottom of the leach area. A 3-foot separation between the estimated seasonal high groundwater table and the bottom of the leach area is proposed. Number 2, 310 CMR 15405-1J, reduction of the 12-inch separation between the inlet and outlet tees and the estimated seasonal high water table is proposed. Inlets and outlets will be equipped with watertight boot and or hydraulic cement to prevent seepage of groundwater. Gillis and Roy feels that we have provided an acceptable engineering design for the above referenced site, which provides the same amount of environmental protection and with strict compliance with the Title V of the state environmental code. Okay. Dan?
Yep, again, pretty similar to the last one. Property is serviced by town water. We're installing a Presby system in the backyard. Keep it away from the house as much as possible for future swimming pools, landscaping, something for the new buyer. Again, failed Title V, tank, pump chamber, and a Presby bed. We had groundwater at 24 inches and a perk rate of 10 minutes per inch on this site. So we only asked for a 1-foot separation in groundwater. So we'll still have a 3-foot offset with this Presby system. And again, the same scenario with the tanks, obviously with the booted inlet and outlet to keep them from groundwater infiltration.
Okay. This is behind the credit union?
No, this is up on the top of the hills on the right across from Skylark.
Okay.
It would be on the right coming from Mass Ave, I'm sorry.
Yep, okay. Anybody, well, let's hear from Jim. Jim, you have comments, please?
Sure. So I talked to Chris McKenzie at Gillis and Roy. I had just a short list of, kind of minor comments that need to be addressed. Probably the bigger comment, and I think I probably asked it of Dan also, because of the water table and because of the height of the house that's already set, and because the yard slopes from the back of the house up to where the system's going to be. The tank outlets will probably be pretty close to in the water table. That's just, and so I asked Dan if they could take a look and see if that could be raised, if the outlet of the house could be raised as part of the insulation system. I don't really have an issue with the request. It's always better to try to get the outlets above the water table. But it is served by town water, and given the high water table out there, it really would be good to get this system, which I believe are leach pits in the front yard, out of the water table.
Yes,
Okay,
and I did have a conversation with the homeowner. We are gonna raise the plumbing in the basement to get the line out as high as
Okay.
possible.
now you put that on the as-built, right?
Yes,
I'll pick that up.
Yeah, okay, good. Okay, any members of the board have any comments or questions regarding this request? Hearing none, we can take a vote. All in favor of granting these variances? I'm sorry?
Need a motion.
Oh, we need a motion. That's what I was gonna do. Okay,
I'll make a
Mr.
motion
Chairman?
that we grant the
Yeah, go ahead.
request for 84 Beale Street based on Jim's recommendations.
thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay,
I think
motion-
Lisa's comment, the way her motion was made, and referencing Jim's recommendation, that perhaps we should also include this, the plumbing being raised, since Dan has confirmed that that's possible.
Yeah, well, that'll, okay, we can do that, but that'll be on the as-built. That's why I mentioned the
Yeah,
as-built.
exactly, but it's, was kind of
Yeah,
part of
okay.
Dan, part of
Okay, we'll make that part of the
Jim's
motion.
recommendation.
We'll make that part of the motion in that case. All right, motion's made and seconded. In favor, this will be a voice vote. George Emond, I vote aye.
Perry Jewel, aye.
Lisa Norman, I.
Evan Waters, aye.
Paul Thornton, aye.
Okay, motion's made, seconded, and approved. The motion, the requests are granted. Hey, thank you.
Thank you.
You fellows who came in a little bit late, you probably know it anyway, but this will be our last Zoom meeting. Starting at our next meeting, we will meet downstairs in the conference room where we always have. After 15 long, dreary months. And things will change a bit. We'll have a little bit more access to the information as it comes in. And we'll have as we do with the Zoom, we'll actually have the people here talking with us, and it's a little bit easier to discuss these issues sometimes when they're right with you. Okay, that's it. The only other thing we have to do, which we wanted to do first, but we didn't have all our folks here, is to reorganize our board for the coming year. So what we will need is,
Mr. Chairman?
yes, Chair Perry.
Yeah, I know that often in the past, especially when Dave Passios was here, we made a motion to sort of nominate everyone who was serving, but probably better since, I'm one of the ones serving, that I just limit, that we do them separately. In any event, I would like to nominate you again, Mr. George Eman, to serve as chairman for another year.
Are there any further nominations for the office of board chairman? Hearing none. All in favor, say no, voice vote.
Perry Jewel, aye.
You didn't get a second, but I'll second the
Oh.
nomination. And
Well,
I will vote aye.
Yeah, okay, well, sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. It depends, usually we just blanket it. Okay.
Evan
Motion's
Waters,
made
aye.
and seconded. Aye, okay. Perry, you voted aye already, I think. didn't you?
Yes, I vote aye.
Okay. Paul?
Evan,
Paul Thornton, aye.
Okay, motion made, seconded, and George Eman is appointed the chairman for the coming year. For the position of vice chairman, I would nominate Perry Jewell to continue as our vice chairman. Perry has been here for almost as long as I have, I think, and is very able in the things that he does. And if there's chances I can't make it, Perry is willing to step in and take care of it. So I nominate Perry Jewell for the position of vice chairman. Do we have a
I will second that nomination.
Motion's made and seconded that, well, that's it, that Perry Jewell is nominated as vice chairman. All in favor, voice vote, please. George Eman, aye.
Thornton, aye.
Lisa Norman, I.
Evan Waters, aye.
Okay, that's unanimous, Perry. Another
yes, I'll
year,
vote aye.
another year, that'll be 32 for me. I don't know how many years for you.
No,
We
not
have,
nearly as many, George.
we have
Not nearly as many.
for some reason, we
But I
have,
would, moving to our third office position, which has very, very little activity, but I think maybe once since he served, he was called into play. But Paul Fortin has served as our scribe for the last several years, and I would nominate that he serve for another year.
I would second that motion if Paul is, Paul, are you willing?
I'm not the best at it, but I'll do the best I can.
We help you out, don't worry about it.
Okay, thank you.
I would second that motion if no one has yet. So Paul Fortins has been nominated to continue as the board scribe, as he likes to call it. All in
Can I
favor?
just have a clarification of what,
Yeah, okay, it's an anomaly, Lisa, really. It's part of the organization of the board. I don't know why it is. It's been that long as I've been here. If Andrea isn't here, or if the administrative assistant isn't here for a meeting, the secretary would take the minutes.
oh, okay,
Essentially, the only thing it does. It doesn't do
okay,
it.
I'll vote aye for Paul Fortin as
Okay.
backup.
I was gonna nominate you, but I figured you got enough to do doing that nonsense. Okay, Lisa votes aye. Paul?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I'll vote myself, yes, aye.
Okay, Harry?
I vote aye for Paul.
Mr. Waters?
Aye as well.
Okay. I think that's everybody, isn't it?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, well,
Mr.
let's
Chairman, I wonder if you'd allow me just to make a couple comments with
Sure.
regard to, just in particular, with regard to your service and Jim's as our, agent as well. To me, it's not just the 32 years that George has served here as chairman and all the relationships he has with all the professional engineers. I think like we saw last week when he was raising an issue, when he was upset with the quality of the input that the one licensed designer was providing, is a clear example of, kind of the tough standards he really puts on everybody. And I know even there, Jim was almost felt badly, I think, that he hadn't picked up on a little of that. He said he couldn't, see where the pipes were or what that was. And it's true. He can't. We're very, very fortunate to have, the quality that Jim provides on all of these and working with, these licensed designers and inspectors. And one of the things that we'll have available to us as we move back downstairs now is we'll be able to see these inspection reports in person. We'll be able to, which hadn't been able to, be seen by all of us. Similarly, we'll be able to review all the correspondence that comes in. And there is often in that various things that you should be aware of, as well as various things that relate to what's being done around inspections on restaurants and things of that nature. So there'll be a lot more visible to the board and a lot more that the board will be interested in. But one of the big roles that George Eamon has provided in the 32 years is he's chairman of the Neshoba Associated Boards of Health. And that's a real tough job. And it's a job that I know is in support of Jim in that role that Jim has. And I think we're very fortunate to have them both and the expertise that they provide, because I know the industry knows of the depth of knowledge that exists in these two people. I just thought that was appropriate to say it at least once a year.
Oh,
Thank you
Barry.
both.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, Neshoba has been around for an awfully long time. 1937, I think, Jim, is that right?
31 officially.
31,
1931.
unofficially, yeah. As a matter of fact, this afternoon, I was looking for something in my junk bureau drawer, and I found a little book that listed the original regulations for Neshoba. I was going to bring it and give it to you. I don't know if you've seen it or not. I got it from Walter
Okay.
many years ago. I don't know if you have one of those little small books.
So at some point, I think the 75th year of the agency, I think we had them reprinted from an original copy. So they,
Uh-huh.
yes, I think I have a copy of that.
Yeah, if you do, okay, maybe I'll bring it and give it to one of the other guys who's been there an awful long time. Well, I guess that pretty much takes care of our meetings. Yeah, Perry. Oh, Jim, you have a COVID report? We didn't have any COVID this week.
Well, so far so good with that. Obviously, since the 29th now, restrictions have been lifted. We're still getting some residual questions, and I think people in general just kind of feel strange going into a place without a mask on. So we have some of these discussions now about when masks are required. So, the general recommendations that we're giving is that if you're fully vaccinated, CDC you're not required to wear a mask, so you're protected. So a lot of stores are putting that kind of a sign up saying that for fully vaccinated patrons, that masks are required. Really no way to check. It's, I guess, that's part of, I mean, I think because of our high vaccination rate in the state and the low positivity rate, it's the situation that it has been. But again, it shouldn't drop our vigilance of the fact that there still are people who either aren't vaccinated. And there's a whole group of individuals, children under 12 who can't be vaccinated. And what we've noted throughout the pandemic that if the case of COVID ends up in a household, then the whole household. Again, just something to vigilant on it. The only place masks are really required now are healthcare facilities. And there's a list of exceptions in the mask order, public transportation, and think about different places, but it's a small list of, right now for schools, they're required in the school. So, again, hopefully this is kind of the end of it. Hopefully we have it under control and people continue to get vaccinated. That the variants can creep in and cause us to fall.
Thanks, Jim. There's one other thing I might mention, and it's only because of I ran into it the other day. It's sort of recommended, I guess, matter of courtesy. There are some people who are going to wear the masks regardless. They're going to wear them just because they think they should, or are uncomfortable enough that they don't want to get COVID, so they still wear their masks. And it's sort of been recommended that if you go into a place and you see a lot of people wearing masks, perhaps you should put one on as a matter of courtesy. If you go into a place and hardly anybody has one on, well, feel free to not wear a mask. I ran into this the other day in Hannaford. I walked in and I keep one in my pocket. Just shove it in my pocket just in case. And I walked in and I had a mask on because I had seen an elderly lady walking into the store and she had a mask on. So I put my mask on. And I got inside and I don't think I saw 3 people with a mask on, so I took it off. A little common sense, I think, but I think a little courtesy to our friends who are not as confident as we are with the immunization process. So just keep in the back of your mind, keep one of those things in your pocket, keep one in your car, just in case you find a place where you might want to use it. Some places are putting little signs up, as Jim mentioned. If you're out and about and you see something where you go in and all of a sudden someone says, "Where's your mask?" It would not be. I think it would be apropos if you just said to someone who worked there or someone who asked to see the manager, as a member of the Board of Health, and say, we would suggest that you put some sort of a sign saying what your policy is, just so there's no confusion and everybody gets along and there's no arguments or crazy stuff that goes on. Okay, does anybody else have anything they'd like to speak about or talk about?
You have the porta potties, Mr. Chairman, at Shady Point on the agenda.
Is that on the agenda? I didn't see it. The agenda is
Yes, it is, yeah. This is an item that I might just point out that we bring up every year. Normally when someone goes to install a porta potty or several porta potties, it's a fixed number. In the case of Shady Point, what they've done now for years, and Jim may even want to speak to it a little more, but is that they ramp up the number sort of in proportion as the season progresses and as they need them. And it's worked out very well over the past years to allow that flexibility, as opposed to forcing them really to come in every 2 weeks with a different request and for us to have to deal with it. Jim, I don't know, did you have any comment on that?
The good thing about having them have the porta potties, particularly out on the point there, is that you have bathrooms that are more convenient for people who are down on that kind of picnic area. Hopefully they're a little more convenient to get used. They do have bathrooms there also. Ramping them up and down, obviously that's an expense for the business, and you hate to have those just kind of hanging out if they don't need to have as many. So we haven't, to my knowledge, had any complaints during the summer about inadequate bathroom facilities. So whatever they're doing with respect to the number of porta potties seems to be working.
Yeah,
Agreed. It seems to work very well.
Yeah, the town of Lunenburg does not have a specific or I should say that the Board of Health does not have a specific regulation governing porta potties. The reason we do for them is they are a business, and I believe they're still camping out down there, aren't they, Jim? They got a trailer park?
They still have 13
Yes.
trailers as a trailer.
Yes, they have some, they have that sort of thing, and based on that, we control the porta potties that they use down there, or that they must have. Maybe 10 or 15 years ago, they used to get so many, and then they came in and asked us if we could help them out a bit, because the question came up as to their occupation during the summer months from June to say to Labor Day or whatever, and they need more at certain times of the year and less at other times of the year. So that's why we have this rolling schedule. If you took a look at their thing, that they have so many earlier, and as they get busier during the summer, the number of porta potties that they need goes up. So that's built into their request every single year. But again, I can't ever remember a complaint. Can you, Jim?
Not on the inadequate bathroom facility, no.
Yeah, no, they're very good about it. Okay, I think that covers all the business that we have. Does anybody have anything they'd like to talk about?
Does it require a vote for the porta potties?
No,
that's created?
no,
Okay.
no. Okay, I guess, no, okay. I'd be very happy to,
You have minutes, George.
we have the minutes. Did everybody read the minutes?
I did.
I
Yes.
did.
Yes.
Everybody read the minutes.
Yeah.
It took more than a minute to read the minutes all this time. That was a long meeting, or a busy meeting. Okay, anybody have any additions or corrections to the minutes?
I'll make a motion. We approve the minutes as submitted.
Okay. Motion's made. I will second it. And all in favor, voice vote again. George Eamon, I vote aye.
Mary Jewel, aye.
Lisa Normandin, aye.
Paul Fortin, aye.
Evan Waters, aye.
Aye, okay, now we can adjourn. Someone make a motion to adjourn. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll
Thank you,
second
Mr.
that
Chairman.
motion.
Thank you.
Mary Jewel, aye.
Okay, Eric,
Paul Fortin, aye.
Lisa Normandin, aye.
George Eamon, aye.
Evan Waters, aye.
Thank you.
Good
Thank
night.
you for coming. Next time we meet, we'll all meet downstairs. And somebody wants to bring coffee, Coke, donuts, cookies. They're always appreciated.
Okay, will do.
Whatever.
I say that all the time and no one ever brings any.
I'm going to turn off the recording now as we.
The meeting